Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are live from New York City right now with the WCS America round of 16, and we got one match remaining. The players currently doing their videos, getting set up for this oh-so-important match. Might be getting a little bit sleepy. Again, traveling long distances to get here, having to adjust to jet lag. But it will all come down to this. Only one player can move on to the round of 8. It's either going to be the STC or Moonglade.
Both these players have had one best-of-3 victory and one best-of-3 defeat so far. In fact, both of them had a defeat at the hands of Crank and had a victory over Apocalypse. So these two players haven't met yet.
They have a lot in common.
They do. A lot in common. Moonglade, though, has a better map score so far.
Does he?
Yeah, Moonglade's 3-2 in maps.
Oh, because he lost one to, STC lost one to Apocalypse.
That's right. And the STC got 2-0 by Crank. So STC actually, in a way, has the worst map score possible being in the final match, and Moonglade has the best map score possible. Does that mean Moonglade's a favorite?
I don't know, man. Anything can happen here. STC playing so well against Crank, I thought, but just unable to make it happen. And again, Moonglade's coming so close to taking out Crank in that third game, but seems like he's out for vengeance right now. It's like, you know what? He's like, all right, I lost that game. I was a little nervous. Something went wrong, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to fight.
Moonglade has found out that Koreans bleed just like your non-Korean fellows. He's like, you know what? I came so close to beating Crank. Why don't I just not actually lose? Why don't I just keep actually, you know, I can start winning the game, but then instead of ending up losing it, I'll just continue to win it.
Yeah.
And that's what he did against Apocalypse. Actually, it's almost the opposite. He started out losing, and then he turned him into winning in both games. Very excellent late games, rigorous Terran play. And keeping that in mind, he's got to be thinking, okay, you know, what I've got to do is just survive to the late game. And that's not easy against STC, man. This guy loves drops. His stutter step is amazing. His micro, his multitasking. It's going to be very difficult to hang in there with him.
STC is just a solid all-around player. He's so good. His mechanics, his macro, his micro. He's not going to be a guy who's going to lose a game in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I feel like he's a guy who loves pushing it to the late game, loves really taking advantage of his great mechanics, his great macro, and of course, potentially dropping everywhere, really just taking the game to his opponent, taking the momentum of the game, and making it happen. So I think this is actually going to be a brilliant matchup between these two guys, and we'll have to see if the STC can kind of accomplish what Apocalypse did as far as the beginning of the game is concerned, getting a lot of that damage done to that Zerg before they can really get out of control, and of course denying additional expansions. That might be a story as this game goes forward.
It definitely will be. You know, the STC against Crank, his early mid-game were just exceptional, especially the mid-game. But in the late game, his ghost control really let him down a bit, and he just got hit by massive storm after massive storm after massive storm. And that's almost something he's going to have to think about against Moonglade too. The late game, if he gets caught by Fungal Ultratus, he's going to be in big trouble. But the mid game is where STC is absolutely amazing. His drop plays, multitasking.
Yes.
And, Apocalypse had amazing early games, but he kind of was a little bit careless with some of his units. And so he never was able to get a big mid-game push. If STC can accomplish the same thing Apocalypse did as far as denying the bases, killing drones, getting an advantage, but then also try to finish off that advantage by consolidating and actually building up a very strong army at the same time, that's going to be his ticket to defeat Moonglade.
All right, we'll have to see what happens. A very exciting best of 3 coming your way. And again, guys, if you missed any of the matches from any of the WCS America, it's all available on YouTube, youtube.com/official MLGSC2. And it's okay to miss the matches live because they are all available. Oh. Okay, someone needs to GIF that right now. Someone GIF it, get it on Reddit, and do a fancy title. I promise that wasn't set up.
Moonglade, an awesome guy. He's a really friendly guy too. You sit down and talk with him. He's
and he has a great voice too.
There's
a thing. I have a thing for Australian accents. I don't know what it is, but
Moonglade. It's not.
I wish I had that voice.
Yeah, everyone wishes.
Yeah.
Moonglade, an awesome guy. He's very calm too. He's not one of the guys who. He's very, he gets upset at himself when he loses games.
Yeah.
But he's not the guy who just rages and takes it out at other people around him or the game itself. He's like, you know what, I'm disappointed. I should have played better. Even if something that's frustrating and he thinks, you know, there was some issue outside of his control, he's like, no, you know what? There were so many things because you can always do better, right? And he's one of those guys who, no matter how the game goes, he looks back and says, you know what? I could have done better. A very good competitor, and that's why he's excelled so much and become one of the top players in the world.
Yeah, I mean, guys, by the way, if you haven't already, get on Twitter, #WCS. Tell people this is going on. This is probably one of the most important matches of the night. Again, the winner of this best of 3 moves on. The loser goes to Challenger League. Get on Twitter, get on Reddit, get on Team Liquid, as the players are very nearly ready to begin the final best of 3 of the night. And again, if you're in Europe right now and you're staying up late, you are awesome. Kudos to you. I think is it Wednesday? Yes, it's Wednesday in Europe right now.
Yes.
Almost Wednesday, almost Wednesday in the States. But I'm going to ask if they're ready.
Let's see.
Of course, they're chatting a little bit in the chat. STC's English is actually really good, and they are ready. The countdown has begun.
I'm so excited for these games. You know, I loved watching last year's games with Moonglade, but I want to see him do that speed roach bust because he plays it so well, knowing when to back away, when to move in, and this is the perfect map to do that speed roach style. I mean, it can be frustrating though because even if you slow down to third, drop play is really rough, and Star Station's a very difficult map to deal with drops, and it's a 4-corner map, so drops can come in from a lot of different angles.
I mean, you can tell by the name of the map. It's Star Station. There's going to be a lot of airspace, intuitively, of course, based on that name. So we'll have to see if STC decides to go for a strategy incorporating a lot of drops. I mean, TVZ, it's pretty darn standard that the Terran player trying to get up close and personal with that medevac play. So we'll see what happens, but here we are in game number 1 of this best of 3 in the top left-hand location. Hailing from Australia and representing Team NV, just took out Apocalypse 2-0. Can he continue his success and advance to the round of 8? He is Moonglade. Of course, Star Station might be a good map for him, considering his name has moon in it.
This is true.
Though the moon is not a star.
And you know, he won the last
space.
Star Station map.
And the game is StarCraft.
Everything's going his way, man.
Yeah.
The stars are aligned.
His opponent in the bottom right-hand location of Star Station. We have your blue Terran player hailing from Korea. And representing Team Complexity, he is the STC.
Oh, look at this from Moonglade. He's drone scouting. Oh. This is actually really nice. This is something not many Zergs do. Well, a decent number, but it's kind of 50-50. It's some Zergs who really want to go like 3 hatch before pool if it's command center first, and who also suspect their opponent may be doing some early barracks play and have a different style they want to open against early barracks or proxy barracks. They use this drone scout, and seeing the gas, he knows exactly, okay, it's going to be a barracks built somewhere on the map, and it's going to involve a Reaper most likely.
Behind this Moonglade taking that 15 hatch, very standard play indeed. Of course, we're getting to the later stages of the day, so players are starting to get a little bit tired. So you always have to be wary of when the cheesy stuff starts happening, because it's very predictable or imaginable that players, as they get tired, they might be wanting the games to last a little bit faster. They want to get a quick win underway. So I feel like these players definitely going to be on top of their scouting throughout these games to make sure they're not getting taken off guard by such shenaniganry.
You know what's awesome is the STC's build is basically a fairly standard build, just Reaper opening. But he built the barracks further away, and that does 2 things. One, it hurts his economy a bit because SCV had to walk down and walk back up to get back to mining. So it is losing maybe 30 minerals on economy, and it also is going to make him delay retreating the barracks back to the wall to get the add-on and transfer to the factory. So the add-on will be slightly delayed there as well. So there's 2 minor disadvantages that way, and the Reaper's not really any closer to the Zerg base. But the big advantage is that if the Zerg drone scouts like Moonglade did, they might freak out.
Yeah.
Because they'd see, okay, could it be like a barracks right next to my base, and Reapers comes extra fast. But Moonglade, almost
surrounding the Reaper.
That would have been so amazing. If you get the first Reaper, I mean, that's
not only is it great for the game going forward, but as far as confidence is concerned, and the state of your mind, I guess, in the game is great whenever you take down that Reaper, especially with slowlings.
Now Reaper's pissed, man. He's like, get back here, Leans. Take me on now, huh? Now I know where you're at.
Queen's like, stay away from them. They are my children. All right, 2 Reapers now here. and speed about 20% of the way done. Now, if we remember, Moonglade was able to be a ninja and take out the 2 Reapers of Apocalypse at this point of the game.
Oh, these
Kind of
Reapers,
flanking with
he's
the
trying to corner. He doesn't have anything to cut off those Reapers.
No.
You know, it would have been sick if he pulled the drones and we were able to cut them off somehow. I mean, Reapers are so slippery. They actually grease themselves up a bit.
In an alternate universe, I'm sure that happened.
So, you know, the transfer of the factory to the reactor, a little bit of a pause here by STC, is slightly later by about 5 to 6 seconds, and would be in a game where the barracks wasn't proxied. But it's not a huge difference. But it is something that sometimes that could mean the creep tumors get a little bit further away. So we'll send admin. It seems like there's some... there's a little bit of an issue with his computer. So we'll get an admin over there to see... what the problem is and get that sorted out. But going forward in this game, he's of course double expanding behind us, which is the standard way to play this Reaper build. What you normally do is you go ahead and you get the Reaper, then you get the first command center, then you get the factory, then you get that third command center in that order. Because that way you get the factory out so that you can get the Hellions and continue map control. If you build the third command center before the factory, once they have speedings, they'll take back map control, and then you're in the dark, and you're like, well, I'm playing kind of greedy. What if he cheeses me? And then it's nervous. But if you get the factory first, then you can retake map control with the Hellion Reaper combination. Then you build the third command center, and you'll be to scout the roaches as they're crossing the map, if it is a roach bust, and have plenty of time to, you know, build a marauder, get an extra bunker, get the widow mines in position, and be totally fine.
You know, making that safe move to get as much economy out as possible, as fast as possible, of course. You know, there are players who will go for the, you know, the crazy fast stuff, cut some corners, be really greedy, go for that really fast, you know, influx in economy. But again, that, as you said, that's when they could potentially be vulnerable to those counterattacks. To those, you know, aggressive plays from the Zerg player. Now, I don't expect Moonglade would necessarily do something like that right now, based on where he stands right now. He's up 2-0. Like, as a Zerg player, if you're up to, or as far as like he just won 2 games against another Terran. Like, do you really feel like, you know, a change of strategy like that could happen for Moonglade at this point in the game?
I think it could. Now, this is something that a player like Moonglade is very confident in multiple different styles, I'm sure. And so he probably has a couple different ways of playing versus Terran that he likes to use. And so he's got to be torn right now. Because on the one hand, like you said, his earlier style worked out great. Just going for the speed leans. But you also think, you know what? They worked out great, but STC just saw those games. And both those games, the opening really actually didn't work out that great. Moonglade took a lot of damage to Widow Mine drops, even to Hellbat drops in the second game. And he actually fell definitely behind in the early mid-game. So he could be thinking, you know what? It worked out because my late game was great. But maybe I should do a strategy, a different one to get the early mid-game better. Maybe STC is going to be thinking about how to deal with that type of mid-game I'm playing. If I change it up, it'll throw his plans into gear. It's really two sides to that coin, and it's hard to tell, you know, when Moonglade flips in his head, which side will land up. And
it's interesting because, you know, so far in this game, it seems like this is a pretty identical build to what Apocalypse was doing in his game. You know, going for the early 2 Reapers, following up with the factory, and then, of course, in that very fast early third command center. So, you know, perhaps, you know, STC was watching this game, and it's tricky. As Moonglade, you're like, all right, this guy saw how I played. You know, should I adjust my strategy based on what I showed in those initial 2 games? It just goes to show when you're going to a tournament format like this, and you're realizing, okay, there's a lot of people you're potentially going to have to play matches against people who have seen how you played, you know, have seen your play style. You might have to adjust on the fly. So Moonglade, I feel like, definitely came into this tournament, this group, with plenty of builds under his belt, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him, you know, perhaps go for a different strategy than what he did against Apocalypse in those initial 2 games.
Looks like we're back in the game now, and we'll have to see if Moonglade does that. Of course, these Reapers are still being a little bit annoying, waiting outside the front base of Moonglade, but the Zerglings are standing pace. The sentry's on top of the wall.
STC had no idea those lings were up there, but they were doing still a little bit of a dance-off.
You know, it's like a siege in a medieval castle, right? You don't want to climb up a ladder, and right when you get to the top, this guy just kicks you in the face, right? Because you can't see what's up there.
Dude, if I was defending a medieval castle, I'd have my archers killing those Reapers anyway. So
this is true, but Zerg has a tech to get archers.
That's true.
You know, they have to get the roaches out. Oh, the Reapers missed a drone. That's actually big.
Did it sneak by the vision, or did they just...
I think it...
There's a little narrow...
Yeah, I think they snuck by.
Oh.
Because
Speedlings are out, too.
Yeah. He doesn't have enough to beat the 2 Reapers.
Yeah.
Oh, but there's only 2 Hellions. Really, normally Terran waits for 4 Hellions, and they pull back the Reapers during this time period. This is a very dangerous time. If with the 10 more speedlings Moonglade makes, if he can cut off... will the Hellions meet up? They might. Okay, yeah. As STC pulled back. If STC kept the 2 Reapers, 2 Hellions in front of Moonglade's base, they would be dead right now.
Yeah.
Because there'd be 14 Speedians would surround them. But STC very intelligently retreated them just in time to meet up with others. And once you have 4 Hellions, then you're much, much safer against those packs of Speedlings. 2
engineering bays on the way here from the STC, so again, focusing on the economy, focusing on progressing his tech, and of course staying on top of upgrades. 2 evolution chambers just now going down here for Moonglade, so it looks like similar strategy from Moonglade as previously. Hellions coming forward, trying to be aggressive. Lings taking some pokes. 2 queens trying to hold strong as well. A 3rd queen coming forward from that natural expansion, but again, this 3rd is about to finish. Scan going down, trying to clear some of this creep, but Moonglade once again trying to go for this round, but doesn't quite have enough Lings. 20 more Lings in production here.
He doesn't get all 4 creep terminals, only gets 2 of them. That's a pretty important factor. He really wanted to get all 4 at that scan, but he is softening up these queens. There is a transfusion available right now. Is he going to use it? Save the queen!
Save the queen.
Oh, maybe he's going to use the queen as bait, but the Speedlings have to be careful. Doesn't want to lose too many of those.
Total Biscuit would be... Okay, there we go. The queen is saved. Not to worry.
Very important.
Very important.
And Moonglade's Australian too, so you know there's an affiliation.
Good point.
Involved.
He knows the importance. So, layer on the way here, as well as 1-1 on the upgrades. Again, very standard play from both of these 2 guys. STC, I feel, has a slight edge as far as he was really, I don't say greedy, but again, really on top of prioritizing additional command centers, again, additional engineering bays. 1-1 is already about 20% of the way done. Not a huge advantage over Moonglade. What we're going to have to look out for is how they end up progressing. Will STC get that armory down in time so he can progress into the 2-2 right away? Can they hold on to these additional expansions? When is the draw play going to start really trying to harass that drone count of Moonglade? Some things we're really going to have to keep an eye on.
A couple of differences from the matches versus STC is STC delayed the E-bays by another 30 seconds to a minute in order to get the drop play going a little bit faster. And so that's why he was behind Moonglade in 1-1 and 2-2 timing, whereas in this situation, STC is actually slightly ahead, but they're basically roughly even. But on the other hand, Moonglade's worker count has been pretty much untouched. He's up to 70 drones now, which was a very difficult chore for him to do against STC here. I think it was until like...
Apocalypse,
Or sorry, against Apocalypse, excuse me. Yeah, it was like 14 minutes until he actually got that 3rd saturated, just due to those Widow Mines.
And the 4th just wasn't happening.
Yes, it never happened. Apocalypse is still relentless. So this is a more traditional game where both players macroing up a bit more, not, STC more upgrade focus in Apocalypse, but also not able to get quite as much damage as early as Apocalypse was able to accomplish against Moonglade.
Link's trying to get us around onto the Hellions, but the Hellions juking the other way.
A nice little, must have done one of that spinny roll things.
Yeah.
Nice move there.
Do that, very fancy tactic.
It
is. Can do that.
You know, and it's difficult when you're driving a 4-wheeler.
Yes.
To turn on a dime like that. It's not something with our current technology our 4-wheelers can really do.
I've seen children's toys that could do that.
Yes. Yes. So maybe Hellions.
I haven't seen actual vehicles on the road.
ATVs or anything. Yeah, no. Not quite there yet. Oh, it's like the Batmobile.
Yes.
From Batman.
Great example.
That thing could actually turn exactly on a dime. So maybe those get cheaper in the future, and the Terran is able to afford them in more bulk. Just mineral cost. Oh, and
you're onto something, Nick.
A lot of Widow Mines being pushed forward across the right side of the map.
That's so scary.
And this attack has medevacs with it. That's so many Widow Mines. And the Speedling sees 6 Widow Mines. He's like, oh no. What do I do?
You have to find out a way to optimally engage, and that's like...
If the Banelings get in when the Widow Mines are clumped, Widow Mines are light units.
The Banelings
boom!
Oh, great connections. Wow, 3's still alive.
Yeah, the splash didn't hit all of them.
But they did send off their missiles.
One more Widow Mine.
Gotta be careful. Banelings and Lings try to connect here. Again, upgrades are very similar here for both of these two players.
That was actually just destroyed.
Yeah, Moonglade is very happy with how that went. STC a little bit late in dropping those initial Widow Mines.
Yeah, they were all clumped, which meant that not only would they overlap their splash damage, which is wasteful against Speedlings and Banelings, because it only takes 1 splash hit to kill them all anyway, but it also meant they were all getting hit by the Banelings.
Yeah.
So they all died so fast there.
You kind of have to treat it like siege tanks almost. Make sure you spread them out. Stagger them out, and again, don't get caught on siege, right?
And now Moonglade has a supply advantage, which against Apocalypse, he was never able to get that supply advantage. I mean, often Zerg wants to get that, but Moonglade was never able to do it against Apocalypse. 17 more drones in production as well, so his 4th base is going to be stocked fairly soon. 2-2 timings are both dead even. more Widow Mines and Marines coming out. But this time it's only 3 Widow Mines. Losing all those Widow Mines is actually a significant
They're burrowed, and Moonglade does identify them. 2 of them trying to get burrowed here, and an Overseer is there taking a shot at the Mooners. That's not going to do too much damage.
Poor Marines.
I think Moonglade is in a great position here. 2 more Widow Mines being pulled out, but there's none really protecting that third base.
Oh, the bunker's well positioned with those depots. Does Moonglade want to commit here? There's so much space for the Marines to micro around. I don't know about this engagement. Oh, but he's going to get that 4th command center, actually.
That's a huge pickoff.
And then he backs away. Very, very smart play, knowing that he couldn't actually chase after the Marines.
Yeah.
It was too open an area. They could kite and spread out and
run back to the Widow Mines.
Yeah, that does not. And there's more Marines rallying out. But he also saw that command center was vulnerable, and delaying the 4th and Materan is a really, really big blow to them. Moonglade just is playing very well, but his Hive tech transition is a little bit later in this game.
Just now putting down the infestation pit, which means this Hive is going to be much, much later than usual, than you actually want to. Ooh, what am I trying to get some shots off? Also a drop being pursued by Muta's left-hand side of the map. But look at this, STC wants to be aggressive, does not want to let Moonglade breathe for a moment. Scanning, trying to clear off some creep as well. Moonglade has to be very careful in engaging this.
The Queen falls, but a lot more Banings being morphed. STC backswitch, the smart move. There's not enough Widow Mines there. He's too far on the creep to really want that engagement. A drop may deny the 5th base of Moonglade.
Moonglade's still trying to clear out some of those Widow Mines.
It's actually not going to delay. He just says, no, I don't care about the 5th. But it's been spotted, so the Muta should just go up there and into airspace. Maybe it wasn't spotted because the hatchery building has no vision. It's spotted right now, though the Overlord sees it. There's no stack defense into natural. The Mutas are heading towards the Marines. Okay, good. They're going to back away there, and Speedings will defend this drop play. But that drop's going to continue to be annoying. Wow, another push from STC goes along this right side. You know,
Moonglade has a lot of minerals here. I'd like to see him perhaps consider placing down some static defense. And that's exactly what he's doing. 3 spores being placed down here from Moonglade. Drop going to be happening in the main base. There are some Lings and a Baneling very close by. Meanwhile, the 5th base is going to get denied. Let's see if Moonglade tries to engage this. But I love how STC is pulling the majority of his army to that high ground. And again, the Lings should not be running up there. Oh, pulling aside, so the Baneling's going to go through, and the Muta's coming down from the bottom. It's going to be a great engagement for Moonglade, taking down the Marines. Meanwhile, the drop still happening inside the main. Moonglade finally going to sweep up and clear that out. But there's drops everywhere here. At the natural, we got the 3rd, and Moonglade's going to have to back up to try to deal with this.
STC doing a great job with his drop play. Moonglade pretty quick on pulling the drones, not taking too many worker losses. Still with about 70 workers. His Hive tech is now complete, and he's fended off the main battles have gone pretty well for Moonglade. So supplies are even, but Moonglade has a nice bankroll. Of course, that is intentional, saving up for that Ultras transition as well as those 3/3 upgrades. I'd like to see Adrenal Glands going down as well. That would be probably useful. He has the money. Well, actually, he's kind of low on the gas, so maybe not.
It's such a tricky situation trying to decide, okay, what do I want to spend my gas on? He still has to spend gas on Chitinous Plating on the Ultras. I would love to see him take this base at the middle left-hand location. He needs to start thinking about getting that 5th base on the ground. Send one up to the top right. There is a Marine waiting there. Meanwhile, STC has been on 3 bases here, so he's going to try to set up this 4th base on the bottom middle. Of course, Moonglade probably going to try to identify that as fast as possible. Sending some Lings over there, gonna see that and probably try to stop that command center from landing.
You know what's really interesting is there's an extra orbital being built by STC kind of in the front area where he's rallying his troops, and that's smart. When he's being so aggressive, he doesn't want to have his reinforcements cut off. Oh, he's pushing in here. A good number of Widow Mines again with this push. Moonglade, so many speed banings. STC, most of the Mines are... Oh, he is drilling closet, bro, very quickly.
The Muta's flanking in from the back, trying to take down some medevacs. Great detonations with those Banelings, and I think there's some friendly fire on the Widow Mines on top of the Marines, so not a terrible engagement by any means there for Moonglade. STC definitely going to be a little bit tentative there, but it looks like he's going to try to engage. Once again, lots of Widow Mines there on the ground.
Oh, there's only one Widow Mine that has it. It's timer up. It's going to go after the Mutalist, but... as long as they stay alive for next...
regenerate that.
Yeah, and you just...
They can take those hits.
6 Widow Lines went down there. Raven's transition is in effect for the STC, but he's going to need a healthy Marauder count. If he wants to build
going to get caught up right here. The Lings coming forward. The Widow Mines are not dropping. Finally going to try to burrow down there into the ground. Still a couple Widow Mines remaining. Taking down a lot of... Yeah, where's that Overseer?
Well, the Medevacs roll deeply hurt if Mutas can close the distance, but I don't know if there's enough more Marines need to come up to protect those Medevacs. Oh, the Medevacs are under fire.
Gosh, and Moonglade can see how low they are in health. Going to back away after taking down a few. Great pick off there from Moonglade. 4 Widow Mines in a line there.
if the Mutas fly World 4, they're actually all gonna die.
Does he even have an overseer?
They've died through he had actually 3 at one point, but I think they've been dying off throughout the battles. He actually doesn't have any right now. The Mutas are the Widowmines are sculling after them.
Oh wow!
But they're just.
Moonglade's gonna take that.
Yeah, he's like, okay, I get 3 for 1 Muta. Not too bad, not shabby at all. And the Ultralists are on the field now.
2 Marauders in production at a time, it seems here.
2 is, I think you really want to have more to 5 or 6 Marauder production at a time at this point. He's still very Marine heavy. Not like the 80 Marines in 1 Marauder that Apocalypse had, but it's 50 Marines and 10 Marauders, which is not bad. 10 Marauders aren't bad, but he does want more against the Ultralist force of Moonglade.
Oh, Widowmine and Marines being dropped here at the top right-hand location. Can they get a nice shot off? It looks like an Overseer's there. We'll take out the Widowmine.
And Moonglade now on 5 bases, taking a 6. The middle left side base he can't take is a creep tumor blocking. You have to kill that first. Kind of annoying there. The 4th base of STC has been stabilizing up and running. That's been pretty untouched once he did get it up. And he's using that gas. A lot of Terrans just bankle the gas and have like 3,000-4,000 gas. He's building up a Raven force behind it, which I think is really cool because it's not a significant mineral investment. It's a great way to burn that gas bank that Terran accumulates when they're really just powering bio units.
STC able to take down the hatchery at the bottom left. A potential flank here from Moonglade.
Even better, going straight for the most important mining base.
Oh, the SCVs are cowering in fear. The Banelings might make their way toward that location. The Ultra's going to work. It's so much of STC's economy going to get taken out right there, but here come the Ravens, going to try to get some damage done. The Ultras are going to run away from that point. Nino will have a drop at the top right-hand location. A Widowmine is there, as well as some Marine Spinecrawler going to be wailing away at those guys. And STC proceeding across the left-hand side of the map with a sizable Marine Marauder force, but still so many Ultras here from Moonglade alive, and he just crippled STC's economy.
He did. STC needs to reestablish that 4th base. Muta's taking care of the drop play. STC does not want to push with just, I mean, basically just pure bio, and it's very Marine heavy. There's only a few Widowmines. If he pushes on to creep and the Ultra just come after him, it's going to be very difficult. At best, he burns a lot of stims. At worst, he gets massacred. Where are those infestors? Pathogen Glands is finished. No infestors quite yet. Moonglade is maxed out. Oh, the Ravens have spotted the Mutas. Mutas have got to be careful. The Mutas are very important, even in the late game. They stop drops, and as the Terran kites away from Ultratus, the Mutas help pick off the Ravens, the Medivacs, and even some of the fleeing bio.
All right, STC coming forward with lots of Ravens, Marines, and Marauders up to the right-hand side of the map, looking out for, of course, those Hunter-Seeker missiles. Moonglade trying to bide his time, trying to spread out in every single direction. Moonglade setting up. He might go for an engagement fairly soon.
The Ultras just ran into the Ravens using their own splash against them.
Moonglade coming forward, and there's no kiting that can be done here for the STC. Banelings extending forward. Hunter-Seeker missiles here from the STC doing a good amount of damage to the Ultras, but is it enough? STC still trying to kite away. 8 Ultras in production here from Moonglade, and he's going to be able to clean up this army from the STC.
Oh man, and losing that 4th base, just having it now reestablished. STC doesn't have the economy to rebuild that fast. Moonglade, 8 more Ultras, 4 more Infestors immediately in production. Maxed out versus 140 food of the STC. The STC is on scraps. He's got to keep Moonglade distracted here on the right side, because if Moonglade has the time to cross the map and deny that 4th again.
It's an orbital too. It's not even a planetary.
I don't know if that's better or worse. It's weaker to speeding run bys.
That's actually the natural expansion. The natural orbital is lifted over there.
I mean, he had to do that.
Yeah.
And of course, if Moonglade's identified it might be an orbital, speedings are crossing the map.
Oh,
Widowmines, can they take out all, even 2 speedings?
Oh,
1 left, and actually it says a 3/3 speeding. It's gonna kill a lot
of
it.
Does it have adrenal glands?
The SCVs are trying to fight it.
He's regenning faster.
He's just, I mean, they're gonna take him out, but 1 more speeding run by the Widowmines are on cooldown.
Oh, Infestors now in play. Gotta look out for those fungals.
The Ravens have got to be afraid. The Ravens are coming in.
Oh, there go the Hunter-Seeker missiles onto the Ultras. Moonglade going to recognize this and try to just run straight into the Ravens.
Oh, the Ravens get weakened. None of them die, though. The Ultras are softened up.
Ultras can take a punch, can't they?
Another run by, meanwhile, at that 4th base, but this time there's a bunker established, so that does nothing. Great defense by STC.
Moonglade coming in there with the Ultras and the Mutas. Hunter-Seeker's going down, and he's just going to send the Mutas straight into the Ravens. So the Hunter-Seeker doing more damage to the Ravens than actually to Moonglade. And Moonglade going to extend right into this 5th base here on the right-hand side. SCV's, again, desperately going to try to repair, but that planetary getting whittled down in a matter of seconds. 56 lings in production here from Moonglade. Also has +3 flyers
Moonglade
on the way.
Would like to have some queens right now because
Yeah.
this Ultra army is in the deep
He
red.
has the resources.
He's got. Does he have queens somewhere in the army, or he just lose Ultras and rebuild them? No problem.
Oh yeah. He has a huge bank, and this Marine Marauder, of course, is going to get cleaned up once again, but the STC trying to hold strong. A bunch of lings getting sent across the map again. Widow Mines trying to get those key shots off. A bunker is there, but that's not going to be enough. And he's gonna deny this base.
Yeah, they're just, everything's dead. The planetary died on the right, and now this base is dying to speedlings. STC has no money, stuck at 100 food. He's desperately trying to take out the top right bases. And, you know, maybe he'll do it for now. Moonglade's got to refine his reinforcements. He's got a lot of food, but so much of it is tied up currently in produced units. Oh, Widow Mines actually hurting the Terran army quite a bit there as well. Lots
of friendly fire here. Of course, Widow Mines doing a lot of friendly fire, and of course the Hunter Seeker missiles as well. But Moonglade right now, he's up 184 to 76 in supply. As the game goes longer, it seems like Moonglade gets stronger and stronger. Guys, keep in mind how important this game is, how important this match is. The winner of this match advances to the WCS America round of 8, and Moonglade on the verge of taking victory in game number 1 again. More than doubling his opponent's supply. Or tripling even.
Moonglade's been losing enough units, his bankroll is gone, but the STC's chances of winning.
Wow. Moonglade, a man with a mission. Are we getting another hair flip?
I think he's too focused right now, man.
He's like, none of that nonsense.
He's like, one more. See, he gave us the look. He's like, no.
The look of serious determination.
I'm in the zone. And that's exactly what he is. A beautifully played game there by Moonglade.
And I feel like that game went about how we expected, at least for the early stages. STC's like, you know what? I'm not going to go for the early draw play. I'm comfortable going to the late game. I'm going to get a fast 3 commands in. I was going hyper fast into this quick upgrades on the engineering bay. But as the game went along, I mean, I think, you know, that was a game characterized by momentum, where STC went for that Widow Mine attack, and that looked terrifying. But it was a moment where, again, he had 6 Widow Mines that were just all clumped together, not burrowing as fast as they could have. Moonglade able to pounce with a few Banelings, and I think just that moment alone was able to put that momentum in favor of Moonglade, giving him control of the pacing of the rest of the game.
It was. Widow Mines get really scary as they build up in number. And STC was always able to have 6-7 Widow Mines because he was so on top of their production, but he was never able to build up to like 15, 16 Widow Mines, where also it gets to the point where, you know, maybe you can dance 6 different Zerglings away and trigger 6 of those, but then all of a sudden the next 5 are still going to kill all your units, right?
I mean, on ladder, whenever I try that, man, it never works. All my stuff just blows up, and I'm sad.
It's definitely more difficult the higher the number of Widow Mines and the better spread they have.
Yes.
But Moonglade was always able to consistently kill those Widow Mines, battle after battle after battle, and just make sure that they weren't able to stay alive.
All right, guys, you're watching WCS America round of 16. Moonglade versus the STC. Moonglade currently up 1-0. He's 1 win away from advancing to the round of 8. The STC must win 2 in a row, or he'll be knocked to the Challenger League. Guys, stay tuned. The STC versus Moonglade, game 2 coming up.